I am Angelo Feliciano from Oglesby, Illinois. At the start of my weight loss journey, I was 455 pounds. I was like your average kid. Like I played baseball, I played football, I was outside every day. Like I wasn't like just like when you think of like someone that's overweight, they just stay at home and eat food and play video games and watch TV. I was the opposite. Like you hear all these weight loss journeys like, oh, I was a loser, I was this. As outgoing as I am today, I was back then. So it wasn't like bullying, like I dealt with bullying and everything, but I never let it affect me. It wasn't, like that wasn't like my motivation was, oh, I was tired of getting bullied. Like I come from a Mexican and Italian family, so bullying, that's just another way of love to me. When I was 8, my mom abandoned us. Well, okay, no, when I was 8, my dad went to prison, and then when I was 10, my mom abandoned us. So we moved in with my aunt and uncle who like raised us all of our lives. So that's like who I call my mom today, is like my aunt. Like after that, just because of like, from 8 to 10, we were homeless, living in hotels, like eating out of gas stations. Like my mom was just out partying, so like literally it was just us kids roaming around Chicago, like fending for ourselves pretty much every day. Like we hung out at one library just so we were in the warm in the winter, but then everything else we were just feeding off of whatever we can find pretty much. Both parents being gone, food replaced that. Food was my parent. Food was my one that tucked me in at night, you know? After that, like I've learned to like forgive my parents for everything. Like that was at like a young age because like I had to be so headstrong for my younger siblings. I couldn't really deal with like the emotions of like losing both parents so quickly. It was just like, okay, now I need to like become a man to help these kids. And so like I never really got to deal with that. I think food was my coping. And then like growing up, like obviously like after things got better, it was just like, I never really dealt with the issues. I just kind of like stuffed them away because I was dealing with so much more. So food was just like filling, and I just became so blind, like so tunnel vision. Like I just like didn't even care about any of my other problems that were going on. It was just food was healing it all. Food was taking away any thought, anything that I ever wanted to feel, like anything I felt, like food was taking care of it. Like I think that's why like I never ended up like I've contemplated suicide, I've thought about it, but I never really went through with it because I was thinking about my next meal. I was thinking about that next double cheeseburger at McDonald's. I was thinking about that next bag of chips. Like that was just like my thing. I was like, okay, that's my next thing. Like, was planning out what my food was what kept me going, essentially. But like, yeah, I was like so tunnel vision on just like food that like everything else became a blur. Like obviously I was living and everything, but like my problems became a blur. Like I've never really dealt with my issues before. And then I found fitness, and then that's where I was able to like just dump that all. Like, I think that's why like I was able to lose the weight so quickly. It was because I found another release besides food, and that was fitness. That whole world, like, that's my drug now. Like, I need that now. Now it's not food. Now it's learning how to use food to fuel that. Cause like that's like the whole thing with like fitness. Why I fell in love with it is because I got to fall in love with myself. So like, working on myself, investing in myself. And it's just not like just like in the gym. Like it's at home when you're wanting to eat everything in the fridge, just like binge eat, but then you tell yourself you're not like, you know, I don't need to eat all 4 meal preps right now. Like I'll only eat 1. And it's just like, you start to make those different lifestyle changes and you start to love yourself. So then like your problems start to heal on their own. Like I've always been happy. I just want to be happy in my own body. Like I want to be happy, not just like happy for like everybody else, but like happy like with myself, and I'm truly happy with myself. Like that's the biggest difference. Is like before, like yeah, like I never like growing up, like with everything that went on, I never really dealt with like depression or anxiety, like shit like that. So like when I hear like people like talk about it now and like their stories and everything, like I can't relate. Like even though like you would think someone who's been through like the shit that I've been, like you'd think they have like so much trauma and everything, but I never had the time to really process all that just because I have food there blinding it. So like when people say, yeah, I was bullied and I felt like this and I felt like a loser, I never felt like that. Like all my life growing up, it was always just like take care of everybody else. So then like there was no time to like ever feel what I was feeling. So like that's like one thing that I hate the most is like I was never able to really feel all of that pain and everything. I was able to feel like obviously like losing the weight and everything, and that's just been like an up, like that's just been like a high. But I never felt like the down of being overweight. Like I never really felt like those issues. Like I said, I was an active kid. Like I was outside playing football. Like we lived on a farm, so I was outside pretty much every day. But I was still just overeating. That's the thing. I was burning, but I was also eating. Probably, I would say like my senior year after I moved out, I was probably eating like 8,000, 10,000 calories a day. Like I would eat like a family size like Chips Ahoy pack at night. I think about like my body as like a car. It needs gas, it needs coolant, so that's like food, water, and like, your essential vitamins with, your oil and all that other stuff. So it just like plays a key role into maintaining and moving this car. It's not just one thing, it's like a broad aspect of multiple. So food is just like one part. Before it used to be the whole thing, now it's just one part. I've isolated down to just one thing that makes me. It's not everything, but it's one thing. Right now I'm at like 185. I've gotten down to as low as 170 for like my last bodybuilding show that I did. So I want to get down to like 170. I think that's like 455 down to like let's say 175 on show day. It's like two.
You're almost there.
Yeah. 10 more pounds. I got 5 weeks left, so 2 pounds a week. Get your protein in, get your steps in, and get your water in. Those are the 3 biggest things. I failed at getting my protein in. That's why I have so much excess loose skin. That was like my whole big thing was I was eating right. I was eating like full volume meals. It just wasn't enough protein for how much I was, because I was 455 pounds. Usually you're supposed to do about like 1 gram per pound of body weight, so that would have been like 450 grams. I was only probably hitting like 100, but you live and you learn. That's my biggest thing. From August 2022 to April of 2023, I lost 140 pounds. And then that was just like my milestone, because I think that's when 140, I think I got down to I think I broke like the 200 mark, right around there. So like right around like 140, 145 pounds was right when I hit like the 200 pound mark. And then like since then I've lost probably about like 60-ish more pounds. So I would say just like that first like 7 months, 8 months of just like straight grinding was just all you really need to change. If you just take 9 months of a year to focus on yourself, eliminate all distractions and everything, you can get it done. You transform your body. You just have to want it more than everybody else. That's the main goal. That's my mindset was going into it. I wanted it, not just for myself, but I wanted more than others.